Hello and welcome to another Deadguy video. I know that my channel is misnamed, but so it goes. I'm David. Uh, Probably love playing Deadguy more than anything else. The deck has felt not very good, but with the meta shakeup with the bannings, I know it's a couple months old, I actually feel like the deck might be in a decent position nowadays. 8 cast, which is like one of the worst matchups, is still very popular, but I feel like there's far less Delver in leagues. And Control has started to make a bit of a comeback. Control's one of the best matchups, so I wanted to put the deck through another league just to see how it goes. From the last time, the mana base is basically unchanged. It's 21 lands along with the 3 Chrome Moxes, 3 basics, 2 swamps, and a plains, with the duels, the wastelands, one of each black fetch that is in a marsh flats, and then Castle Locthwain. 2 badlands help Prismatic Ending get to 3 mana, but also there's a couple red cards in this version, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm trying out this card. I'm not sold on it 100%, but it's been okay. Invasion of Asgol is kind of a removal, untargeted, or it targets the player rather than the creature itself. So it can remove really problematic planeswalkers, or it can remove like a creature that can't be targeted or something like that. It's not usually relevant, but yeah. And again, it just fits with like the 2-for-1 nature of the deck. This deck really tries to get 2-for-1s on the opponent, and so this kind of fits with that. Other than that, um, the 2 slot is pretty standard. Uh, because I'm running Invasion of Asgol, I did drop down to 2 Prismatic Endings. Um, the only thing here that's a little strange is the Umezawa's Jitte moved to the sideboard. This card I've felt has not been that amazing. In the matchups where it's good, it's very good, like Death and Taxes, but in a lot of matchups it's just not good enough. So I'm moving it to the sideboard for now. I'm not saying that that's correct necessarily, but I wanted to try that. And in the sort of like 2-for-1 creature or non-creature slot, I guess I have Marchesa, that is a creature. Um, I'm not 100% sold on this, but taking the Monarch is pretty much always good. I considered something like a Ravenloft Adventurer here, but I think Queen Marchesa might just be a little better right now. Um, yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of Planeswalkers, so the haste could be relevant. The Death Touch can also be relevant, and then obviously the real goal with this card is taking the Monarch. It is a 4-drop, which is a little dangerous for Dark Confidant reasons, but I think it's okay. 1 Kaya, 2 Fables, 1 Liliana of the Veil, the standard high-end equipment, so that's all good. In the sideboard, again, not a ton of changes. 3 Deafening Silences, 3 Surgicals, 2 Oppo Agents, 2 Plague Engineers, 3 Red Blasts. Ashiok is a planeswalker that I always like to have in my back pocket. It is like awesome against lands, and it sometimes, like in the matches where you want opposition agent, this kind of functions as your 3rd opposition agent, but also has some other matchups where it's good. Anyway, I'm gonna hop into a league. All right, on the play against Tony. Tony's usually on some sort of storm deck. We'll see how this goes. I feel like Tony usually has my number. Um, I don't know if this is good enough to beat him. The Stoneforge is uncastable. I would really like a hand with Thoughtseize. Might be able to get him with something like Kaya. Turn 1 Dark Confidant into turn 2 Kaya. I'm going to give it a try and we'll see how it goes. If he has like a Saga start, this might actually be okay. I'm going to keep it. This could very much bite me. So I'm gonna Chrome Mox the Stoneforge Mystic, I think. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna cast the Dark Confidant on turn 1, and then hopefully the Kaya can do some magic on turn 2, and hopefully I draw another black source to cast Turak on turn 3. That's the hope. See how it goes. Tony could just go off and win the game here on turn 1. But hopefully I draw better than casting Kaya would be like a him to Torak or a Thoughtseize probably. Ooh, this is something different. Okay, that was unexpected. That was not expected. I'm gonna still cast Kaya here and see, just get started. I don't know if that's gonna be good enough, but we'll see. If he dazes me here and this is Delver, I'm gonna be unhappy. Alright, so hopefully next turn I can draw Swamp and then Torak Dreadcantor or something. Alright, Brainstorm. This could be Delver, but that's not usually what Tony plays. So we'll have to see how it goes. If it is Delver, the Kaya actually is still very good this early. Kaya can stop a lot of like Delve. It stops the Murktide and it stops the DRC in the Delver. So I guess next turn I'll probably Thoughtseize and get a good idea of what my opponent's on. All right. Okay, I'm gonna just go for Torak here. Like, we'll see what happens, and I'll get a Scrubland. All right. All right. Lightning Bolt and Brainstorm. Or Lightning Bolt and a land. I guess he was choosing whether to bolt the Torak, which is reasonable. Another bolt? No. Alright. Well, let's take the bolt and the Brainstorm and keep the instant count low in my opponent's hand. See what my opponent's got. Okay, deal 1 damage to any target whenever you cast an instant or sorcery on top. Okay. Guess that's good. Well, kind of negates the Dark Confidant. That card's not going to work right now. Well, let's get the Thoughtseize in. Okay, Spell Pierce and a second one of these. I don't think I care about Spell Pierce at all. So I think I'm just going to take the second one of these. Leave my opponent with that, and let's get an attack in. Not sure what this deck does, but I guess we'll see. So I'm just going to take the creature in the land. I'm not casting the Dark Confidant. My opponent's got a Spell Pierce in hand and an unknown card. Okay, 1 to Kaya. Okay. My opponent's got a Preordain. So I think the plan here is to somehow cantrip through. Okay, 2 bottom. So my opponent still has an unknown card. Can't cast a Murktide with just 2 lands. So Kaya's doing her job. Alright, another one? Nope, just a Dragon Rage Channeler. That's fine. Okay, so don't want to cast this into a Spell Pierce for sure. So my options here, I think I'd rather attack with Torak first. Like, if my opponent wants to block with Dragon Rage Channeler, that's okay. I'd rather tick Kaya up. Okay, they are not. Alright, well, I'm going to tick Kaya down then, and just exile the Dragon Rage Channeler. Such a cool deck from Tony, actually. I'm not sure. I mean, this is not a card that I knew existed. Alright. Oh, 1 damage to Torak. Oh, he's going to bolt it. Okay. Oh, he's going to try to find a bolt. Alright, alright. Had good luck drawing the cantrips to bottom. Okay, so that didn't... Okay, Thoughtseize I think is pretty good. I'm going to open with that. My life total's fine, even if it just takes the Spell Pierce. I think that's okay. My opponent wants to damage Kaya and then Spell Pierce it. That's okay. I guess maybe I actually should have Kaya'd first. My opponent... Okay, so untap here. I'm going to pay for the Spell Pierce. No, another damage to Kaya. Definitely made a misplay. Well, ended up not really being a big deal. Okay. So the coast is clear for the Batter Skull. My opponent's at 2. And I'm going to exile, I guess, just the Preordains. I don't think maybe I'll take a Preordain and a Spell Pierce. I think that's okay. Hopefully my opponent bricks or something. So my opponent has an unknown card. Okay, just a straight concession. Gelectrode is actually surprisingly good against me. And I didn't see, all I saw was blue-red. So I think the Pyroblasts are for sure in. Not sure, I mean the Plague Engineers are okay, I guess. I'm not loving the Jit here, even though this is kind of a creature matchup. Invasion of Asgol seems okay here. My opponent's not really attacking me, so Marchesa probably is still okay. So normally I would cut Torak Dread Cantor, which I think also doesn't line up very well against the Gelectrode. So those are probably out of here. I realize they would be like Torak won the game, but I don't think it's very good here. Kaya I think is good at keeping my opponent's graveyard down, and all I saw was Dragon Rage Channeler and Gelectrodes and cantrips and counter magic. So I think Kaya's still okay here. You know, keeps the graveyard down and keeps down Dragon Rage Channeler. So I think she's okay. I'm gonna keep this in. I like the Dark Confidants. I like the Stoneforge. Kind of worried, but I guess Pyroblast takes out Gelectrode, so I'm definitely bringing that in. Normally I would, like if this was Delver, I would probably cut a Dark Confidant and or a Thoughtseize. I'm less sure here in this matchup. Like there's an argument for cutting Marchesa because it's just too much mana. But at the same time, Marchesa is good against, like, if my opponent's running Gelectrode, they're probably a little creature light. I'm guessing this is DRC, Gelectrode, and maybe 2 or 3 Murktides. So maybe Marchesa's okay. Huh. Might be Dothy Void. No, I'm going to keep Dothy Voidwalker. 30 seconds. Maybe I'll cut a Dark Confidant. It's a 1 toughness creature. And, sometimes your life total is really pressured in this matchup. So maybe I'll cut that, bring in another Pyroblast. Pyroblast takes out Gelectrode and takes out everything other than DRC, probably. Hand looks okay. This is uncastable. But otherwise, this is okay. It's slow, but I don't think this may not be a super fast matchup. Watch my opponent just goes Dragon Rage Channeler, turn like 3 Murktide. I wonder if I need like a third red source. Okay, so just a Ponder to start. Nothing super fast. Love to draw a Thoughtseize or a land. Those I think are what I want the most. Just figure out what's going on. Alright, well. Yeah, I'd love a land. I don't know if this is a Wasteland deck. We didn't see any Wastelands. I definitely kept a slow hand. Could get punished by a Wasteland, but doesn't look like it so far. So definitely don't want to play. Okay, there's Dragon Rage Channeler. Curiosity. Okay. I'd really like a fetch land here. Play the invasion. That'd be really good. I assume my opponent has some sort of counter magic here. Or a Source of Plowshares or a Prismatic Ending would also be okay. Alright. Well, I'm going to go right for the invasion. So this is whenever it deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. I assume my opponent has counter magic, but I think I have to go for it. Hopefully it's not Daze. And I'm going to grab the bad land and just cast this. Alright, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully there's no force. My opponent is reading a card. I would have to read it too, to be fair. Okay, there's the force. Okay, so the Dragon Rage Channeler is kind of bad for me. I guess the other option was to play something like Stoneforge Mystic. Oh, another one. Okay, because this doesn't give the creature evasion. Of course, my opponent's at 3 types. Yeah, ouch. Double curiosity hurts. My opponent just got a ton of value. So I think next turn I would go Stoneforge Mystic, trying to just get a creature. Okay, my opponent junked a Lightning Bolt. Probably looking for counter magic to keep the Dragon Rage Channeler alive. But if they're able to put a creature into the graveyard, then they'll kill my Stoneforge. Or they could evade the Stoneforge, which is probably better for them. What's this for red? Grim Lavamancer. Oh, brutal. That makes my Stoneforge much worse. So now I kind of need like a Swords to Plowshares or something, or I'm going to fall hopelessly behind. I get to see what I draw. And Liliana of the Veil's not going to do it. Is this whenever it deals damage to an opponent? Okay, well, I'm not left with good options here, but I think I'm going to Lily. Although they're just going to junk the Grim Lavamancer. I don't really have an alternative. And then they sort of have to attack the Lily, which prevents them from drawing off Curiosity. Hopefully no Daze. Daze would be brutal here. Alright. So they junk the Grim Lavamancer, and then Dragon Rage Channeler probably attacks Lily, unless they draw like a bolt or something. But at least that keeps them from drawing 2 cards. Or Lily gets to tick up. Definitely a cool deck, though, for my opponent. I'm really digging this. Like, I didn't see the Curiosities before. It does seem like Gelectrode is not a creature that attacks, so like it seems like kind of a non-bow with Curiosity. You really have to kind of get Dragon Rage Channeler into Curiosity for that to work. I don't know. It's not whenever deals... Oh, it's deals damage to an opponent. Oh, even non-combat damage. So it's a combo with Gelectrode, not a non-bow. Oh, interesting. Oh, I see. Yeah, you get a Gelectrode and a Curiosity going. That's brutal. Okay, well, nothing I can do about that. Bolting the Lily, drawing 2 cards off me. Hoping to hit like a... They're hoping to hit like a... You know, forces to prevent their creature from dying. Brutal. Another Valk. I think I've sort of fallen hopelessly behind here a little bit. I'm not like it's almost worth conceding, but I'm gonna try to hold on another couple turns. I'm pretty dead here. I guess maybe I'll hold the Hymn to Torak for a turn. Like I can make them pitch both cards, but they're drawing 2 cards a turn. So, maybe I'll just cast it, see what happens. Alright, we'll Hymn, and unfortunately that's my only play. Basically just trying to get some information. My opponent's burying me in card advantage at this point. Wonder if they're debating whether to. I guess if they had a spell pierce, they fired off. Okay. There's a daze. I'm gonna pay for it. Okay. All right, that's it. You get to deal 6 and draw 2. I wonder if the goal there was to keep me off of Swords to Plowshares. All right, ponder. So definitely want the. I don't think there's anything in the sideboard that I'm bringing in. Maybe the Plague Engineers. They're not bad here. I mean, they're at least removal. They wouldn't remove the Dragon Rage Channeler here, but they can kill a Gelectrode, which is something. Probably better than like a Dothy Voidwalker or something. Okay. Think you got me. Pretty cool deck. Okay, so I drew nothing that does anything to my opponent's clock, so I am dead. So I'll concede without giving them any more information. Okay. So Plague Engineers definitely coming in. The JIT is okay. I think everything else is probably fine where it is. Everything in the sideboard else, those can all stay there. So I think Queen Marchesa can go. You know, this deck has a bunch of counter magic and it's fast, so or reasonably fast. So I think I can cut the Queen Marchesa. I want all the removal, so all this. Those are all coming. Those are all staying. Fables are okay. They're not great. The Lion Sash is okay. Probably want a Plague Engineer over a Dothy Voidwalker. Maybe even a Dark Confidant. This deck definitely doesn't push the life total quite as fast as Delver. Yeah, maybe I'll cut the Dothy and just bring in the 2 Plague Engineers. I think Kai is still good. I think Liliana of the Veil is still good. And Fable is at least decent. 12 creatures. Yeah, I think Fable's still good. I think this is good. Let's do this. Hopefully I Plague Engineer a Gelectrode. Yeah, I think I probably have not seen Gelectrode since like Ravnica Block Limited. I definitely had to read that card. But yeah, the Curiosity plus Gelectrode is definitely a combo. So they tap Gelectrode, deal 1 damage, draw a card, cast a cantrip, untap Gelectrode, so on and so forth. Definitely a good combo. Alright. I'll be on the play. I think this hand's okay. I have Thoughtseize into Stoneforge with Red Blast. I think this is good. I'm going to keep it. Hopefully I draw gas after this. So I don't have removal, notably, for a Dragon Rage Channeler, so I'd consider taking that with a Thoughtseize on turn 1. Although if they have like a Daze or something, I hate that because I really want to cast the Stoneforge on turn 2. My opponent is mulligan to 5, so that's trouble for them, especially with a Thoughtseize on turn 1. But, I think this deck, I could just draw lands 2 or 3 in a row and, like, we're kind of back to evens. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Wonder if my opponent's considering going to 4. That's brutal in a fair deck. Nope. All right, sticking with 5. They were figuring out what to put back. All right, let's go swamp into Thoughtseize. Okay, I have no idea what this is. Aria of Flame. Each opponent gains 10 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a verse counter on Aria of Flame. And then it deals damage equal to the number of verse counters on it. That feels pretty good. However, my opponent only has 1 land and a Brainstorm. So there's definitely a part of me that just wants to, jam Stoneforge Mystic on turn 2, force out the Force of Will, and, see where it goes from there. I'm going to take the Brainstorm here and, hope to get a 2-for-1 with the Force of Will and strand my opponent on 1 mana. It's a risk, but I think that's better than taking the Aria of Flame. And I'm not worried about the Gelectrode. I have the Red Blast for that. There's the Scalding Tarn. All right. Dauthi Voidwalker seems pretty good. I'm going to I'll play the Caracas and just Stoneforge Mystic. And hopefully this forces out the Force of Will. Yep, there it is. Okay, and Gelectrode entered the exile zone. So this is not any target, this is to the opponent's face. Player or Planeswalker. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I think I'm casting the Dauthi Voidwalker. Get a bad land here. So my opponent could just jam Aria of Flame, and that would be trouble. Well, they can do it. If I do draw like a prismatic ending, I can remove it. There it is. Aria of Flame. Okay. So my opponent has 1 unknown card. Well, we're going to find out what it is. I think I'm going to go for a scrub land here and just get the Hymn to Torak going. We'll see what my opponent's got. It was a Ponder. All right. And so this is only when they cast a non-creature spell. No, it's only an instant or sorcery. Okay. So they could have drawn something like counter magic. Countering my Batter Skull would make me sad. That's fine. So there is a consideration to counter like a cantrip here. But we'll see what my opponent does. Okay, lands a blank. All right. All right, I'm going to cast the Dark Confidant, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Hopefully I don't hit my Cauldron Complete with the Dark Confidant. Because my opponent at any time could just get into like a cantrip loop and really, really kill me really quickly. Still a couple turns though. Okay, so the Aria of Flame is going to trigger. My opponent triggers me. Looks like they have save targets on. So definitely a consideration to just blast the Ponder, which I think I'm going to do here. If they have Spell Pierce, I would be very sad. So the Aria of Flame can take out a Planeswalker. So they don't have something like a Spell Pierce, because they would almost certainly Spell Pierce there. So Tony's other card is probably a land. And I'm going to hopefully take him to 2 here. Thoughtseize is pretty good. That's pretty good too. Well, let's get the beats in. So I want to put a Fable into play and just, present another lethal body. Okay, my opponent is Thoughtseizing, or my opponent is fetching to 1. Turns off future fetch lands. Okay, Mystic Sanctuary for the Brainstorm. Sure. It's a thing. Okay. I guess that will work. So my opponent basically has to kill me next turn. I know they have just a land, no reason to pay for the days. So we'll just let it be countered. Cool. So I guess my options here are, so my opponent can brainstorm. That's going to put a 3 onto here. 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 11, 15, 18 damage. I don't think that's going to be enough. Could be enough with a Dark Confidant trigger if I draw very poorly. But I think I'm just going to put another lethal attacker into play and hope for the best. All right. So we'll do this and hope for the best. So my opponent can brainstorm. Oh, but then they can't put the brainstorm back on top of their deck with the land because the brainstorm will go to exile from Dothy Voidwalker. All right. So 3 lethal attackers on board. And we'll see if my opponent can take me from 22 to 0 in one turn. All right. Well, 19. I don't think there's a creature that will do it. I don't think a cantrip loop will do it, but maybe if they have some sort of like mass removal. I didn't want them to be able to draw like, I mean, even, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they can do. Mass removal, like a Pyroclasm would be pretty bad for me. Doesn't seem like a card in Tony's deck though. Okay. Okay. Preordain. 15. Presumably these are bottoming. Yep, 2 bottom. Drew a random card. All right, got him. Okay, well, always nice to win the first one. All right, round 2 on the play again. Oh, not so good. I think I have to mulligan this. This is like so close to a good hand, but I think this is a mulligan. If you don't draw land on turn 2, this hand could just fold. All right. This is equally bad. All right, this is a keep. Okay. Kind of brutal. I think I'm keeping the Kaya. I'm definitely keeping the Thoughtseize. I think I'll just try to go Thoughtseize into Hymn to Torak and try to make that work. I'll bottom the Badland and the Swords to Plowshares and hope to not die to a creature. Guess I'll have first choice on a creature to take with Thoughtseize. So this would be a great 7-card hand. Okay, well, we know what my opponent's doing. Hymn to Torak's now super dangerous. Don't care about the defense grid. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the LED here. My opponent was on a just LED turn 1 hand. Or play out a bunch of fast mana and cast Echo. Yep, we're taking the LED. Makes my Hymn to Torak much more dangerous. Not sure I want to do it. We'll see. Alright, Lotus Petal gone. Petal number 2 gone. Opal gone. Could cast a defense grid or something. Black. 2 black. Okay, there's the defense grid. Oh my god. Okay. Just too many riches. Okay, well, I get 7 new cards. Could be worse. I can either Lily or Thoughtseize. I think I'll Thoughtseize here. I mean, assuming I get another turn, which I may not. Ritual. Storm 9 already. LED. So this is probably, well, I don't know what this is quite yet. I mean, it's obviously some sort of storm deck, but is it like the Black Saga Storm? Is it like TES? I don't know. Okay, so looking kind of like Ant. Are they gonna crack the LED? Yeah, okay. Entomb. Okay, that's kind of interesting. With 2 Ancient Tombs. Okay, we'll see what they get here. I mean, they can just get the Tendrils and I lose. Bolus's Citadel. Sweet. Okay. Another Echo. Probably enough to win. So far, both of these have come from their hand. Okay. Grim Monolith. Entomb. Another Echo. Basic Swamp. So, yeah, I think somebody put up something with this list. I think I've seen pretty similar lists to this list before. Or not like super long ago, but, you know, in the past like week or so. I mean, I'm at this point just getting information on what they're playing. So this game's lost. Okay. Another Infernal Tutor. Okay. Entomb. Haven't seen any sagas. Don't remember if I don't remember if those were in the list. Okay, they had tendrils, so that's good. We'll concede. Sounds good. So what's good against this sort of tendrils type deck? I think the Oppo agents and the Ashiok are good. I think these are okay, and these are for sure. So, and the surgicals are a maybe. I don't think I think I'd bring in 2 max. I don't think I'm bringing in Plague Engineer or anything. Okay. So they could have Urza's Sagas, which makes me somewhat hesitant to take out the Source of Plowshares, but I think I'm going to cut all 4 and these. They just, even if they have Urza's Saga, like I can try to beat it with something else. Either Prismatic Ending or Wasteland. So I think I'll go with that. I think Torak Dread Cantor is probably too slow. So these are probably out. I think these are 100% in. All of these are just super good in this matchup. Queen Marchesa is probably slow. Like there's probably just better things. Definitely want the Dothi Voidwalkers. Dark Confidant's good. Stoneforge is good. Lion Sash is good. Kaya Orzhov is, I mean, they're running a bunch of 0 mana artifacts, so it's okay. It's not amazing. I think Queen Marchesa is a cut. between these, I think you take the Pyroblast over Surgical. I don't know if they're running cantrips. I didn't see any, but I think it just hitting Echo is enough. There's an argument to cut one Pyroblast for like a Surgical, but I think this is probably okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. So we'll go with this and hope for the best. Hopefully we can get a good turn one start. This ain't it. It's not the worst hand. Like you can Chrome Mox something, but I think this is just too fair. It's got no discard. It's got no Deafening Silence. Like if they could, and the Pyroblast is uncastable. So I think this is just too fair. I think this is a mulligan. I can't cast the Hymn to Torak. The Cauldra is dead already. I think again this is just not good enough. This is good. Okay, so this is good enough. I'll keep this. 2 cards back. It's probably the Chrome Mox because I'm casting the Deafening Silence on turn 1, and one of the lands. Probably, I'm gonna actually bottom the. I'll bottom the Caracas. Yeah, I'll bottom the Caracas. I don't think my opponent saw enough creatures to like bring in creature removal, so I think that's okay. I'll bottom the Caracas. Like I'm worried about Massacre, but I think I don't need to play around it right now. So, yep. Cool. And we're gonna go Deafening Silence on turn 1. My opponent is also mulligan to 5. All right. All right, we're definitely casting the Dark Confidant. I'm not yet into hold up Pyroblast mode. I think it's too early for that. I think you jam the Confidant, hope they don't have a removal for the Deafening Silence, and starting next turn we'll do that. Okay, into Echo. Oh, they can just cast it. Nope, Wishclaw Talisman. That's okay. That's their spell for the turn. All right. Well, we're going to get in with the Confidant. And I'm going to cast the Stoneforge, leaving up the Pyroblast for their turn. And I'm just going to get the Cauldra. So they have a lot of life pressure. Massacre is a thing. Okay, they're searching up something with the Wishclaw Talisman. Could be like a bounce spell for the Deafening Silence, which I will Pyroblast. Did I bring in one of the Surgicals? I did. Oh no, I didn't. Whoops. Okay. Another Wishclaw Talisman. Okay. Okay. Before I jump ahead here, so I don't think there's anything to search up for with the Wishclaw Talisman that I care about right here. So I can't do the Cauldra and I can't Cauldra plus Hymn to Torak. Huh. Not super worried about the Hymn to Torak actually right now. Like that, maybe I'll do that next turn. I think I'm just gonna go for the Cauldra here. Just gonna put life pressure on them. So this is a 2-turn clock with Pyroblast held up for removal on the Deafening Silence. Okay, so Pyroblast should end the game. Counter target spell if it is blue. And they cannot cast a non-creature spell here. Okay, so that should end the game. Yep. Okay. So that was good. That drew it up exactly as I planned. At least game 2, that part. Okay. So I think one surgical might make sense. It might, yeah. I'm wondering what to cut though. So with Entombs, they have Entombs, they have Wish Claws, and they have whatever Infernal Tutor. So like Ashiok and Opposition Agent are unbelievably strong. I think Surgical's just pretty good because they can Entomb for Echo, and then Surgical just nails them. Although if they do it all on the same turn, that doesn't work. Well, that could be better than Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Like any creature will end this game. I don't think I need any particular creature. It's probably better than Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Let's trim those. They're probably just too fair. Bring in 2 Surgicals. Gives me a little bit of action for their turn. Like if I Thoughtseize and they, in response, Entomb Echo, then you Surgical Echo during their draw step. Just get them. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go with this. I think everything else is okay. I mean, with Entomb, maybe you even want all the Surgicals. I don't know what I would cut, though. I need some creatures to end the game. Kyle Warzov's not amazing, but I think this is okay. I think it's okay. I mean, Batterskull is a consideration, to be honest. Like, it's kind of a dead card. Like, Stoneforge with Cauldra is what you want. Yeah, alright, let's do this. Hand's great. I'm going to keep it. I mean, it's does what it can. Okay. Okay. If they just peer into the abyss, I think I lose. Okay. You've got a Wish Claw. Firing it off right away. You've got LED. Okay. So here, I think you Surgical the LED to try to stop them from doing more echoes. All right. And basically hope for a whiff on their part. They've got 4 mana floating, so 3 Echoing Truths. They do have Peer into the Abyss, so this is just a Peer into the Abyss Storm deck. Ooh, that makes things interesting. Shieldreds. 4 Infernal Tutors, 4 Wish Claws, one's on me. Okay, yeah. I guess worst case, like with the Wish Claw, you can Wish Claw up something like a Ashiok or a Opposition Agent, or if they have Shieldred, like you can Wish Claw for, like if they just jam Shieldred here, like I could the turn after Wish Claw up a Karakas or something. All right, well that's all I can do. Hope for a miss. It's something. It's not the best. And there's the Shieldred. Okay, so I'm gonna take a lot of damage here. So I'm gonna play the Marsh Flats and hold up the Red Blast, and then the following turn I can always like Wish Claw up the Karakas, but I need to be able to Red Blast a Echo here because Echo is lethal essentially with Shieldred. Okay, Grim Monolith is fine. All right. Okay, so how much more damage can I take? So there's some considerations here, like I think you have to Wish Claw here. So my other option is I'm going to take 4 from Shieldred and then 2 more from Shieldred's draw step trigger. So like either like I can just hold up because if they have an Echo, I might just lose the game. Let's look back at their deck. Nothing really that I mean, I guess they could get to Bolas as Citadel, which would be pretty good. But the Grim Monoliths don't really, I mean, other than obviously generating a ton of mana, they don't really do anything here. So basically my options here are search up with the Wish Claw to get a... I hate doing that though. I think I'd almost rather have Liliana of the Veil. I'm going to take a ton of damage though. This fetch land means I'm at 9. This will put me to 5, 4, 3. Yeesh. Even lower if I have to cast the Surgical. And my opponent, I mean, the Tendrils just makes the Tendrils lethal, which is a thing, I suppose. But if I Wish Claw up the Karakas, like I give my opponent the Wish Claw, which I also don't want to do. So I think I'm just going to play the Scrubland and hold up. I'm in big trouble. All right. Entomb. Well, I'm going to Red Blast that. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, do I want to Surgical the Entomb? I think it's okay. The other option is to Surgical... I don't want to Surgical Shieldred. That'll take me to 1. I want to Surgical the Entomb. I don't hate it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see exactly what my opponent's got. Echoing Truth, Echo of Eons. Okay, so this is what's in my opponent's hand. Echoing Truth, 2 Infernal Tutors, another Wish Claw. This is tapped now. It's going to be hard to get the... Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. My opponent, I'm in okay shape here. Well, I mean, I at least have a chance. Okay. Cool. No real changes here. All right. And then I go to 3. Okay. But I kill the Children. Okay. Let's see what my opponent's got. So they can bounce the... I don't know what they would bounce here. Nothing is particularly good to bounce. They could pitch the Echo of Eons, which I don't really want to do. Unless I draw another Surgical. I guess I could Wish Claw up the Surgical if I have to. That would be kind of interesting. Okay, another Wish Claw. I'm gonna crack it here. Get the LED. Okay. Okay, interesting. That's kind of interesting. Wonder. I guess it could just be tendrils. It could just be tendrils. Like, they could just tendrils me and I lose. So my other option here, this is a challenging hand, a challenging turn. So I like, because they could just have tendrils, and I'm very close to dead. You know, like any cantrip with the tendrils kills me. They have one unknown card in hand. I could open with the Liliana. Open with Liliana, use one of the Wish Claws, and then maybe cast Ashiok to exile whatever they got, which I don't hate. The Ashiok would also turn off their Wish Claws. Let's start with that. I mean, the Dark Confidant's dead, so let's start with this. I'm going to discard Dark Confidant. We'll see what they discard. I could go to 1. Okay, they pitched an Infernal Tutor. Interesting. So I could Wish Claw, Surgical, see what they got, go to 1. Don't really want to do that. And then make a choice between Ashiok or Hymn to Torak. The Surgical on Infernal Tutor will definitely take another card in their hand. I mean, I guess that's the play. I don't think there's anything in my deck that I really want here. Like, there's nothing here that does it. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, this is a very challenging turn. I'm surprised they didn't pitch the Echo. So they obviously have some card that they don't want to show me. So the other option, so I can Hymn to Torak here and then Wishclaw Talisman, or I can just Ashiok. And yeah, I guess I could Ashiok plus Wishclaw Talisman. They obviously have an unknown card. The Echoing Truth. The Infernal Tutor. Alright, I mean, so I can get a Surgical. And I think I'm going to get a Surgical and see what's up with what they have. Alright, let's get Surgical Extraction. So now I'm going to cast the Surgical and I'm going to just go to 1. And I'll take Shieldred. I think. No, I'll take the Infernal Tutor because I know that they have one in their hand. Alright. Oh, they have another Shieldred. No! I should have done Shieldred. So now I will lose if I don't Hymn to Torak and get the Shieldred. Okay. Shoot. Okay. Well, I have to Hymn to Torak the Shieldred. But then they can fetch up another Shieldred with the Wishclaw Talisman. Alright, well, I think I'm in big trouble here. We'll cast this like this. Took the Shieldred and the Echoing Truth. That was perfect. So I know they have exactly Echo of Eons in their hand. Should I Wishclaw for something here? There's nothing to Wishclaw for. Okay, we're done. Okay. So even a land, they can Wishclaw up another Shieldred. This is a weird game. Okay. Yep. Giving me the Wishclaw back. I'm repping a Pyroblast for their Echo. Maybe they're just going to get a Chrome Mox. Okay. That couldn't have been what they did. Okay, they've imprinted the Echo. Oh, and then they have... Okay, that's game. Well played, my opponent. Well played. Ooh, actually, this is not over. This is any time. But I don't have any way to kill it at instant speed, do I? I don't have any... I don't have any Swords to Plowshares. No. Okay. Because if I had Swords to Plowshares, I could search it up on... Yeah, I don't have any way to kill it at instant speed. I don't have anything here. So I lose. I have to take the draw first, and that's going to do it. Yeah, if I still had one Swords to Plowshares in my deck, that would be enough. But I don't. So I think they get this one. All right. Yep, they get this one. Yeah, there's no instant speed removal for that. So that's going to be game. So casting that Surgical for 2 life cost me the game. Brutal. All right. On the play again. Unknown opponent. Guess we'll figure out what they're on pretty quickly, though. I think this is a keep. It seems okay. Yeah, let's go with it. Probably don't want to cast this on turn 2, unless I have to. I'm going to fetch just basic Swamp here. We'll just go into Thoughtseize. See what we're playing against. Okay, Doomsday. All right. Well, my hand kind of sucks against Doomsday here. This hand's super bad. Okay. Well, I guess we take the Dark Ritual. Hope for the best from here. So there's still things I can draw, but this is going to be a tough one. This hand is kind of good against fair decks. Maybe it was a mulligan. With the Thoughtseize, it's okay. But yeah, it's not a stellar 7 in retrospect. So my opponent can personal tutor for a Dark Ritual. That's probably what they're going to do. They have Days backup. Okay. No personal tutor. So something like a Wasteland would be good. They could Brainstorm Days it. But that, if they're doing that, that seems okay. The 1 life could conceivably be relevant later. Well, Wasteland's what I was hoping for, so I think that's pretty good. Now the question is, when do I Wasteland? I could, if they Brainstorm, I'm going to wait for Brainstorm to resolve and then Wasteland it, like if they Brainstorm on my turn. Otherwise, I'm going to Wasteland on their turn. So let's do that. So they have Brainstorm up, but this is their only land, so, you know, without Brainstorm, I guess. So I've set an upkeep stop for them. I'll Wasteland an upkeep. All right. Yep, there's the Brainstorm. They can Daze if they want to. I guess they can't now. Too late. All right. So that's that. Cancel my upkeep stop. They had another land. Maybe they just had it. So they still have Days. Another Wasteland would be pretty good here. Thoughtseize would be okay. Wouldn't be amazing though. See, the Brainstorm's gone. They're debating whether to personal tutor right now. At least I assume. These cards aren't all known, because they did. Okay, they're pondering. They have Brainstormed, so some of these cards could be not in their hand anymore. Chose to not shuffle. There's a pedal. All right. So they're threatening a Doomsday this turn. Having the pedal makes even something like a Prismatic Ending okay. Thoughtseize would be good. Prismatic Ending, Wasteland. Him to Torax, not amazing, but I would take it. They'll just Daze it, but that might set him back a turn. well, I'll take the second Wasteland. These have been pretty good top decks, I have to admit. Okay, another land. Alright, I'm just going to play the Bloodstained Mire. That reveals the least info, but I'm not in good shape here. Well, there. Doomsday is available. And they have Doomsday with Days backup. There it is. Notably, they had to get a swamp, or they chose to get a swamp, so they're probably going to go for some like LED-based line, and assume that I'm not on counter magic, so they don't need the cavern, because they're probably risking that I draw another wasteland, or that I have another wasteland. They haven't seen my hand, because if I, post Doomsday, there's ways to make sure that, or there's ways to get lucky, and they don't have enough mana to cast the Oracle. Okay, so let's take a look here. 2 petals, 3 petals, so they probably have a petal. Petal, petal, petal. Okay, so probably a lotus petal is in their pile, or in their hand, conceivably. There's the cavern, so they didn't go for a counter-spell-based line, or for a uncounterable line. Let's see, do they have Force of Wills? There's 1, 2, 3. They have a Force of Will. Notably, this is a 2 Thassa's Oracle deck. Ponder, Brainstorm, Ponder, Brainstorm, Ponder, Ponder, Brainstorm. So they have a Brainstorm left, because I think that's only 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Let's look for Dazes real quick. There's a Daze. Just 1 Daze. So they might still have a Daze, but if they don't, they definitely have a Force. Okay, well, I'm in trouble. And I'm going to fetch out a Scrubland here. And play the Caracas and probably just hope for the best. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing here. Other than 2 Swords to Plowshares. I can hope that they somehow whiff and that the 2 Swords to Plowshares get there. They probably will not. So there's the Brainstorm that we knew that they had. There's an LED. There's a second Edge of Autumn. Okay. There's the Consider. So they have 0 cards in library, is that? Yep. Okay. Nothing I can do to that. Got me. Okay. Okay, so definitely want Ashiok and Oppo Agent. Those are good. These are good. These are good. These are good. So you want almost everything. 2 fair. 2 fair. These do nothing. I'm cutting at least some number of Swords to Plowshares, maybe all of them. Because I have the Red Blast and Pyroblast, which, probably better. Maybe I keep 1, maybe, but I'm definitely cutting at least that. That would mean I would have to cut 4 more. Kaya does nothing. Liliana the Veil's still good. Dothy Voidwalker's a clock. Torak Dread Cantor might just be too slow. Dark Confidant and Stoneforge are fine. Batterskull might be a little slow. The prismatics probably don't do anything. Like maybe you can get a Lotus Petal, but you know that's pretty unlikely. So I only need to cut one card. Between Batterskull and Torak Dreadcantor, it's probably Torak. Actually, it's probably Batterskull. It also could be just Swords to Plowshares. I think I'll just cut the Swords to Plowshares. Sometimes that deck runs a Shieldred, like out of the sideboard. I'll keep one. I'll cut the Batterskull. Alright, we'll go with this. I think everything there is good. Yep, let's go with it. So notably, you cannot imprint Lion Sash, actually. So I can't even cast the Deafening Silence on turn 1. Because Chrome Moxes imprint a non-artifact card, and Lion Sash is an artifact. So I could cast like Lion Sash on turn 1 into Opposition Agent on turn 2. I think this hand's just a mulligan, though. Like, Cauldron Complete kind of makes it a 6 already. Yeah, I think it's just a mulligan. This hand's better. I'm keeping this. Probably bottoming the second Wasteland. Yeah. So I'm keeping this. I think I'll keep the 2 creatures. Bottom the second Wasteland. Could bottom maybe like one of the creatures. I don't know if that's necessary though. I think I'll bottom the Wasteland. Yeah. Sometimes you just get them with the second Wasteland though. I don't hate the second Wasteland. Maybe I will bottom a creature. It'll be the Dothy, I think. That seems like a weird hand. I should have snapshotted and seen how many basic lands they had. I'm going to go with this. All right. There's the basic island. Got me. All right, we'll get Badland, Scrubland. And just cast the Dark Confidant and hope for the best. Oh, they're dazing. Seems okay. Definitely not surgicaling the daze here. There's a wastelandable land. I could also wasteland plus surgical it, which is kind of interesting. They have a known island in their hand. Okay. So I'm in every world I'm wastelanding. So now the question is, do I Stoneforge or do I surgical? So they have pondered and chosen to not shuffle. So they also might have hidden something on top of their deck. So I think I'm just going to surgical the Underground Sea and hope to cut them off of lands that could cast Thassa's Oracle. Now the question is, do I do that now or do I do that on their turn after they draw? I think I'll do it on their turn after they draw. Plays around Force of Negation, and I don't feel it has any downside. I get to see their card. All right, we're taking the Cauldra, and then passing, and then just surgicaling the Underground Sea. All right. All right. Okay. It's one way to win a game. Okay. Don't think there's any changes here. It would have been nice to see their deck to see if they'd brought in Childred. But can't win them all, I suppose. This is good. The Liliana's okay. Yeah, I think the rest of this is okay. Swords of Plowshares is definitely questionable. But I don't think there's anything here that I want. Yeah, I think this is okay. Hopefully they don't just turn one Doomsday. Yeah, I mean this hand's okay. I'm gonna keep it. It's got a lot of pieces of interaction. Now the question is, do I Chrome Mox something this turn? Like I could Chrome Mox the Dothy Voidwalker to play around Daze with the Pyroblast. I think that's okay. So I think you definitely want Polluted Delta. And then I think you want to Chrome Mox here and Chrome Mox the Dothy Voidwalker. The opposition agent, if it resolves, ends the game, pretty much. Like they generally don't have anything that does anything with that. So I think you just want to Chrome Mox to play around Daze. And hope that Pyroblast is enough. Turn off my draw step stop. Okay, they've cycled. Another, there's a Ponder. I have no problems with Ponder. I'm going to let that go. Hope they don't do Dark Ritual into... Hope they don't do that right here. There's a Petal. Okay. Okay. Now here's the question. Do I Dark Confidant here? Or do I just hold up Opposition Agent plus Pyroblast? Or Opposition Agent, rather, without Pyroblast. They have the mana. Maybe I should have Wastelanded, actually, to be honest. So they're definitely a Daze deck. I think I'm just going to hold up. Kind of a weird choice, but... So I can play the Oppo here. and it plays into days, but it probably just wins the game if it resolves. So I'm gonna go with that. Let's see if my opponent's got it. He had it. Okay. Okay. Well, there it is. See what my opponent's got here. It's possible that was overly aggressive. But, I mean, if they had force, they had force. So, not a lot I can do there. Going for the Doomsday. All right. So we'll see what they go with. Maybe I should have imprinted the Pyroblast with the Chrome Mox. I mean, not really. There wasn't really an opportunity to play the Dothy Voidwalker. I mean, I could have played it on turn 1 by imprinting the Oppo agent, but that wasn't happening. Still lots of good draws. Still lots of good draws. Looks like my opponent is putting a Street Wraith in the pile. That's usually what that signifies. Notably, they had an LED, and they had 2 Edge of Autumns, 2 Thassa's Oracles. Okay. Okay. And they have a fetch land, which seems risky, to be honest. Okay, so now they have a randomized pile left, but no way for me to take them off of the mana. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So the LED is gone. Petal, petal, petal. So probably no more petals, I don't think. Brainstorm, 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 brainstorm. So no brainstorms. Force of will, force of will, force of will. That looks like it. So my opponent's got a force of will somewhere. Probably. There's the consider. This might be a 2 Thassa's Oracle pile, actually. Okay, so I'm definitely wastelanding. So let's open with that. There's 1 days here, which might mean they have another days, but no, there's the other days, because they only had 2, I think. So let's open with that. Wasteland that. Cast Dark Confidant. And then hold up Pyroblast. The Cavern is notably here, so they can't double uncounterable, or they can't uncounterable Thassa's Oracle, so I do have counter spells that hit it. Oh, there's an Edge of Autumn. There's a Street Wraith. There's a Thassa's Oracle. Here's a Red Blast. And they got it. Okay, well, they had everything. Good games. Alright, on the draw this time. Brutal. So, punished for the Castle Locktwain. The Dothy Voidwalker and the Invasion are going to be hard to cast. It's not a great hand. I think I'm going to mulligan it. Yeah, the mana is just too awkward. Like, if they wasteland the Castle Locktwain, I probably just lose. I'm gonna mulligan. This is a little better. I'll keep this. Probably bottom the Fable. Maybe bottom the Lion Sash. But I'm keeping it anyway. Okay. So, yeah, the Lion Sash is probably dead in a bunch of matchups, so maybe I'll bottom that. It's not great, but it's not terrible. There's a Delver. So probably Rug. Oh, Mishra's Bauble. My opponent will know whether they've flipped their Delver. All right. They're thinking, okay, checking their own. That's what I would have done too. Okay. So it's tough to Wasteland Delver on turn 1. I can do that, but then like if they flip, and they're likely to flip, I'm gonna take a ton of damage. At the same time, if they just like drop a Tarmogoyf on turn 2, I'm probably hosed. So I'm gonna go with the Wasteland. I need to draw some removal here pronto, but this is sort of a weird play, but yeah. So my opponent will know how to stack. Like if they have an instant on top. Okay, so they didn't have an instant on top. So they draw first and then hope to have an instant, which they did not. Means they probably have land though. All right, 19. Okay, let's play a polluted delta and pass. All right, see how the Delver flipping goes. Still nothing. Getting pretty lucky here. There's land number 2. It's Tarmogoyf time, probably. Yep. All right. And so now my Hymn to Torak is even worse. Okay. Yeah, we're not in good shape here. I can Hymn to Torak or I can Dark Confidant. And Dark Confidant is going to accelerate their clock. I think I'll just Hymn to Torak. I'm just going to play into Wasteland. I'm already vulnerable. Might as well just fetch all duels. Really just need to draw removal. 2 Brazen Borrowers. Yeah, I'm in big trouble here. Still nothing. There's a Wasteland. Taking a lot of damage. I mean, I guess I'll play the Dark Confidant. The other option is to just play Torak Dread Cantor. I think I'll play the Dark Confidant. Yeah. And hope that the Delver doesn't flip, which might be wishful thinking. But that's how it goes. I will absolutely trade it with the Delver if they attack. And worst case, it can block the Tarmogoyf. Okay. Delver didn't flip. There's another Tarmogoyf. Okay. Definitely trading here. All right. Need to draw removal. All right. I don't think there's any way out at this point. Like I can Fable, but Fable just chump blocks a turn. I guess maybe the next turn I can draw two 2 pieces of interaction. I mean, we're into like magical Christmas land here a little bit, but I guess there's a chance of drawing out of this. If they just have days or force, it's over. All right. There's the force plus Murktide. Okay. Tough matchup, but that's okay. All right, Pyroblasts are good. These are okay. Everything else is bad. Taking the Monarch is questionable. And Torak Dread Cantor is usually out. And usually I cut a Thoughtseize and a Dark Confidant and leave the rest. That's usually what I do. So I think we'll start with that. The Chrome Mox kind of makes it a 6, but it's actually a decent 6, except that it doesn't have removal. I think I'll just keep it. It's got a solid mana base. It's got a wasteland. Like, I'm just going to keep it and see where it goes. I think I'd rather wasteland on turn 2. Or, sorry, rather Hymn to Torak on turn 2 than cast the Stoneforge. This matchup is not good, usually. When I think of this deck, usually I think of the worst matchups are Delver and 8-cast. Like, even worse than Fast Combo, I feel. This deck actually, between Thoughtseize and it can put a turn 1 Dothy Voidwalker into play, has some play against combo, but Delver just is very hard to win, and 8-cast is worse. I'm hoping for like Land Ponder or Land Hold Up from my opponent. The uncommon plays from Delver on turn 1. Yep. Looking at my top card. I'm gonna search up here. Not reveal anything to them. Okay, so I'll probably take a bad land here. Okay, second Stoneforge Mystic. So I could Wasteland plus Stoneforge by imprinting the second Stoneforge. Or I could Wasteland plus him to Torak. No, I can't do that. Do I really want to throw away a Stoneforge though? To be able to I mean, the 2 Stoneforges, one after the other, so it feels pretty strong actually. Maybe I'll just cast a Stoneforge and see where that goes. But I think I want to cast him to Torak here just in case they Wasteland me. So maybe I'll do that. They could Daze, but I think it's okay. Okay. Oh, got the creatures. That's pretty good. All right. That's pretty good for me so far. Dothy Voidwalker is also pretty good. Maybe I'll cast Dothy Voidwalker, then Wasteland. That feels pretty good. right. Delver of Secrets. So they've already lost quite a few creatures here. They now have. They can turn this on by. Well, I'm going to turn it on, but that's okay. If they just jam like a Murktide here, I'm going to be quite sad. No Murktide, at least. We'll go with this. Probably have a Bolt. All right, there's the Brainstorm. It's going to be tough. Still, they only got 2 cards, so if they force it, that's everything. They could just get a Bolt, though. All of my equipment are relevant here. I think I'll start with Batterskull. I feel like Batterskull's the best here. Lion Sash isn't bad either. I think I'll start with Batterskull. Puts a lot of pressure on them to get a Murktide or something. Alright. There's the second Brainstorm. Junk in a Wasteland. Lots of filtering. There's a Ponder. Okay. That's fine. Really love like a Sword Splashers or a Prismatic Ending. Or even that one battle. Okay, well, Marsh Flats. I guess I'll just play that to not reveal to my opponent that I'll have the land next turn to cast Batterskull. So I could grab the Lion Sash and just cast it right now too. That's not a bad choice. I might do that. I think I'll fetch a bad land here just so that they can't cut me off of colors. Even though I know that that doesn't tap with Lion Sash. Alright. Because there's some tricks here. Let's see, they have a bunch of sources, a bunch of types, but there might be a way to cut off of a color. Instant sorcery, creature land. Yeah, okay, not really. It would be a challenge. My opponent could just have a Murktide. There it is. Yep. Okay. 7/7. So this thing is still turned on, interestingly enough. So there's a weird trick I can do here by, well, I'm not going to reveal it. There's an interesting trick if my opponent's forced to attack with both. I can put the Batter Skull into play, and then eat the Ponder, and then I can block because they'll have land, creature, artifact. So I'm not attacking now, so I'll just sit back. That will at least keep me alive a turn, assuming they don't have Bolt or a Brazen Borrower will also end the game. Do they just have another one? That'll end the game. Because they can eat the Ponder and make this thing an 8/8. Cool. Now they don't have to attack with the Dragon Rage Channeler. Alright. Yep, you got it. Nothing I can do to that. I drew no removal, but I mean, I guess that's what you get in a no cantrip deck. Alright, on the draw again. Hand's a little dicey. It's kind of very fair, but I think I'll keep it and chance it. Hope that my opponent's on a fair build. Mulligan to 6. Because this hand has not a lot if they're on something super unfair. Guess it's got a Wasteland and a Prismatic Ending. Basic Swamp smells like Reanimator to me. Nothing I can do to that. We'll see what they take. Yeah, if they're just Reanimator, I'm kind of in trouble. Okay. I would feel like Reanimator would actually take the Prismatic Ending, so I don't know. Maybe not. Because, you know, this makes Exhume a little better for me. Alright, well, let's just, we'll just play the Scrubland and pass the turn. See what my opponent's got here. I'll be playing the Dark Confidant next turn, assuming I get a next turn. So this kind of screams Reanimator, but could be actually, there's a few decks that it could be. Still looking like Reanimator so far. Not looking like Reanimator now. Okay, this is something fair. That's surprising. So maybe... no, it can't be Death Shadow. Could just be some, like, control deck. Yeah, I don't know. I lean toward actually just playing the Confidant here. They could be on back to basics, but I lean toward just playing the Confidant. The Prismatic Ending, I don't want to hit the Baleful Strix with that. I can always Stoneforge next turn. Okay. Could be Doomsday. Okay, it's not Doomsday. Interesting. Not sure. I mean, they're prioritizing damage, which I guess they can do. Could be some sort of Helm deck, maybe? I mean, I'm running Dothy Voidwalker main deck, but I feel like a lot of decks don't. Okay, so I could Prismatic Ending plus Wasteland. That feels okay. I feel like that's better than the Stoneforge. So I think I'll do that. And I'm going to Prismatic Ending, obviously, the Dothy Voidwalker. Alright. Hope they don't have a counterspell. I mean, I guess if they do, it's okay. Alright. Wasteland the Underground Sea. And just swing in with the Dark Confidant. What have I revealed to my opponent? I guess not the Caracas, notably. Okay, so my opponent is on the Baleful Strix plan. Alright. Hopefully nothing huge here. Okay, I mean, that's not amazing, but it's something. Okay. I think you just cast Stoneforge here. I don't think I'm attacking with Dark Confidant. I think he's still worth a little bit more alive. So yeah, let's just cast the Stoneforge. Force my opponent to have something. Because Cauldra is good. And Cauldra, one of the key things in this deck is that if you get the Cauldra, then you can't reveal the Cauldra to Dark Confidant. Alright, and I've played lands, so I'm done. I'm not attacking. Next turn I can play the Invasion and then see what my opponent does, and then also put the Cauldra into play, which I think is better than playing the Liliana. I could even attack the Invasion with the Cauldra. Alright, Brainstorm for my opponent. Yeah, this isn't stellar here, because my opponent just sacrifices the Baleful Strix. There's Duress. Okay. Got choices. Can't take the Lion Sash. Everything else is viable. Alright, Caldra's gone. I'm still going to cast the Invasion and then probably just put in the Lion Sash. Although I get to draw another card, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Him to Torak. Not a bad card. I don't hate that. But I can't him to Torak plus Invasion. I could Thoughtseize plus him to Torak, which feels okay. I think him to Torak plus just Lion Sash is better. We'll just start with that. And it might be almost time for me to cash in the Dark Confidant. Alright, we'll do that. Alright, Mental Misstep and a Misty. Seems good. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to cash in the Dark Confidant here. I think he's done his job. My opponent's considering their options. Oh, taking the damage. Okay. Seems good to me. Getting aggressive with the Strixes. You take me to 9, but it's going to be hard to finish me with the Strixes. Oh, that's a problem. That's going to be a problem. Because that's going to be pretty close to lethal next turn. This card's just so good. Okay, Fable's not going to help me. In fact, it's actively bad. Pretty much nothing I can do here. Like, I can kill the Stone Forges, but I can't even kill both Stone Forges. I think I'm just dead here. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, if I cast this, they just sacrifice this. If I cast this, they sacrifice this. I don't think it's good enough. This card definitely feels weaker than... I mean, this is kind of the second or third time I feel it's been not quite where I want to be. Okay. Generally, I like playing engineers against decks that run Baleful Strix. This is probably... I was going to say it's Death Shadow, but, you know, Death Shadow usually runs Watery Grave, so it sort of doesn't seem like Death Shadow in some ways. I still feel these are okay. The Torak Dread Cantors, I mean, it's kind of slow and controlling. Maybe they're okay. Marchesa feels bad against a deck with so many flying creatures. This card, I've been citing it out a lot, I feel. I think I probably don't want the Torak Dread Cantors, to be honest. I think I want all this. I think I do want the Plague Engineers. Normally I like Kaya. I mean, it kind of depends. Like, if my opponent doesn't have Dragon Rage Channeler and doesn't have Delver of Secrets, this card's bad. But again, if they have Death Shadow, this card's really good. It's okay against Murktide, but like, that's probably not enough by itself to play it. But I guess if this is some sort of slower, control-y type deck, maybe I still want it. I don't know. It's kind of a tough one. I think I want Dark Confidant. I think I want Stoneforge Mystic. I like Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Maybe I'm going to try to cut Kaya, I think, for now. And my other card I'm going to cut, I guess it'll be Dothy. Yeah, it'll be Dothy. We'll start with this. All right. Hand's okay. I think I'm going to keep it. I can try to play around days by casting the Prismatic on turn. Well, I guess we'll see what they do. But this hand has like removal. It's got a Lion Sash, hopefully to keep the graveyard in check. The Batter Skull is kind of usually a dead card, but it comes into play late game. My opponent is on the basics plan. So I could him to Torak here, and I might just do that. Even if they have days, like, sets them back a turn at least. And if they don't have days, it's going to be a 2-for-1, even if they force it. I don't think Chrome Mox changes anything here. I've kind of drawn these at pretty inopportune times. Gotten a little unlucky, I feel. I think I'm gonna cast Badland. It's risky, but I want to have all my colors. See what happens with this. Okay, Force of Will plus a land. It's not bad. I'm sure they were considering Force of Willing it, which is reasonable to consider. Still haven't seen a Watery Grave, which sort of makes me think it's not Death Shadow. It's kind of a slightly off meta Delver deck, maybe. Or, I mean, usually Delver doesn't go with Baleful Strix, so yeah, I'm kind of confused. Definitely wastelanding that Underground Sea. Probably combining that with Lion Sash. Still take the risk of just they jam Murktide Regent. Let's see what they did with the Ponder. Chose to not shuffle. I think I prefer the Lion Sash to the Dark Confidant here. Even though like they might just jam a Murktide. I think I'd rather have the Lion Sash. Like if they don't, you just start eating their graveyard and casting the Murktide's going to be harder. I think I'll start with the Lion Sash. I played it like this to play around Days, but this notably does not play around like Snuff Out. So, okay. Street Wraith. Okay, is this some sort of Doomsday? Is this like a Doomsday with Murktide list? Yeah, it is. There's the Doomsday. Or maybe it's some sort of pivot. Okay. Well, there's a polluted delta. Could just jam a Murktide. This is kind of a strange list. There's the pedal. All right. There's a lot of basics for a Doomsday list. Like 2 islands in a Doomsday list feels tough. There's the Murktide. Prismatic endings are not quite where I want to be. I think I'm going to just junk a Prismatic ending because I don't think I need it. But I want to play around Days. I'm going to cast the Dark Confidant, which is tough, but I kind of just need to draw something in 2 turns. I need to draw either a Swords to Plowshares. Actually, yeah, I guess I kept all those in, right? Yeah, definitely. Okay. Boy, my sideboarding is sort of not quite right against this list. So I really need to draw like a Pyroblast or a Swords to Plowshares. Yep, take 8. I kind of need to draw it like on this turn or just lose. I have lots of outs though, but all right. Can't really Doomsday here. They'd go to 7, which is like probably a number I can defeat. I can probably kill you at 7 if you Doomsday. They're probably just Murktiding again. Okay. 4/4 Murktide. This one. Alright, well, let's just start eating the lands. Pump up the Lion Sash. And hope to draw something good. A Pyroblast would be amazing. Or a Swords to Plowshares would be good. If I don't draw them, I think I'm just dead. No, of course I drew Caldra. Okay, well, that's going to be game. Even though I did draw the Swords to Plowshares, the 4 is enough now. So that's game. Tough break. All right, well, 1-0 into 1-4. We lost to like a Delver deck, a sort of Doomsday pivot list, a Storm deck, and one other combo deck. What was that? I don't remember. So yeah, the combo decks were tough. Let's see, it was Storm and it wasn't Oops. Oh, it was Doomsday. Okay, so we lost to a Doomsday list, we lost to a Doomsday pivot list, we lost to a Storm list, and we lost to like I guess the Delver list. And then we were able to beat some sort of weird like Dragon Rage Channeler Gelectrode list. Overall, I don't think this card is good enough. I'm glad I put it through its paces, but I don't think it's enough. And the same thing with Queen Marchesa. I felt like I was citing it out a lot. So I think if I were to do this list again, I think I'd probably cut these. Probably bring in the 3rd Prismatic Ending. Even though, to be honest, those weren't amazing either. Maybe 2. Nah, I probably do want 3. The sideboard felt okay. Like, in the matchups, like in the Doomsday matchup, like I had lots of cards for it. Same thing in the Storm matchup. So those combo matches didn't actually feel that bad. The Delver match and the like Delver pivot list felt worse. I didn't miss Umezawa's Jitte at all, which was, yeah, I mean, would have been okay against the Gelectrode list, I guess, but that was about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if subbing out these 3 cards would be enough to bring this deck into contention. I also think I didn't really face like this deck's good matchups. Like anything controlling is usually like great for this deck, and I didn't face any of those matchups really. Like at first, I thought that the the opponent in round 5 was on that, but they weren't. There was a Doomsday pivot list. So anyway, yeah, not sure like what I would bring in for these. Probably another Planeswalker, probably another Prismatic Ending. That's probably at least the basics. Not sure what the 3rd card would be. But yeah, the Invasion card, even though I even was able to flip it once, I don't think it was quite enough. They're actually, we just played 5 games. There was one situation where I think it got forced and it was good. It was pretty good in that position, but like otherwise it was not very good. So yeah, I don't know. I think this card's probably not a not a play in this archetype. Like I think like Liliana accomplishes the target player sacrificing a creature. It would be better in like a control matchup again, where like you're destroying a planeswalker, but I don't think that those happen very much. Or rather, if they do happen, we're already favored. So I don't think this is like the card for that. Like if you're trading it with a Teferi or you're trading it with a Narset, you're kind of trading evenly, right? And that's probably not where you want to be. Um, yeah. So I think that's my opinion. I think we got a little unlucky in the matchups. I think in the Doomsday matchup, maybe I could have played better and pulled that one out into a 2, so I'd get a 2-3. But these other matchups were hard. Um, yeah, I didn't face the right matchups. Got a little unlucky. That's how it goes. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I think Redguy Ale's still okay in this meta, but I don't think it's amazing. I think there's a ton of 8 cast around too, which is just super bad. So if you're interested in this kind of content, you can check out the rest of the channel. Give me a like or a subscribe, or if you like NickFit content, you can check out nickfitmtg.com. All right, have a good rest of your evening. Bye.